Recording in progress.
So now we will do a quick expectation setting. And what is expected? What is your expectations from the training program? So what we will do is we will be using this particular website called as menti.com, and you can use this code 240484747 and update your expectations. I'm assuming that you guys are doing it.
Let's copy.
Sure. Okay, I like to get more practical examples of Six Sigma. Okay, that was another. That was the one of the expectations coming up. All right. Let's see what other participants are telling us. Become a Six Sigma expert by knowing the concepts deeper. Okay. So wanted to understand the deep concepts much in depth. All right. Let's see what else coming up. Let me see what else is coming up. Is everybody done? To develop my career, this training is useful and Six Sigma concept to grow my skills and knowledge from my new role. Okay, the practical example and end of the session. I like to know overview and how to apply the concepts and become an expert by implementing the learned concepts. Okay, okay, all right. Uh, okay. Need to learn what is Six Sigma, and my expectation is the training to be accessible while working. Um, need to learn what is Six Sigma, and my expectation is the training to be accessible while learning. I'm assuming that there are two interpretations coming out of this last one. What I can understand is that trainings to be conducted only outside the office hours, which is like your Saturdays and Sundays. That is one thing coming up. The second one is probably I'm assuming that the training concepts, uh, uh, the whatever the training concepts we are getting should be include should help us doing help us in implementing in doing some process improvements. That's the second understanding. So person who have put this, if am I right, then okay. If not, you can update, edit it. It shouldn't be an issue. Like to implement the Six Sigma concepts in daily routine. Okay, fantastic. All right. Now these are the few expectations come up. Guys, I'm assuming that you are able to see the screen, right?
Yes, Kobe. We are able to see this.
Right. Okay. Okay. This entire expectation screen. All right. Okay. These are the few expectations that's come up. Let's quickly evaluate that as well. I would like to get some practical application of Six Sigma in service industry. Yes, this is part of it. I would like to get more examples of Six Sigma. We will try to do this. We have incorporated a lot of examples in the training material as well. To become a Six Sigma expert by knowing the concept deeper. Uh, the concepts deeper, yes, you can get it, but what will take you to go understand the concept much deeper is the implementation, right? Implementation. The more and more you implement, the more and more the questions you get. The more and more the questions you ask, the better the clarity you will get. So that's the key here. Okay. So if you start doing the assignments and the taking quizzes and all, you should be able to get this concepts much better. Your quizzes. The second one is your assignments. Assignments and your projects, capstone projects. All right. So now let's go to the third one. To develop my career, this training is useful and Six Sigma concept to grow my skills and knowledge. See, this will definitely help you. This can make your resume definitely lucrative, provided you complete a project. Okay. Let me put a clause here, guys. This Six Sigma certification will give you an edge, but will it help you to crack the interview? I don't think so, because you need to have an in-depth knowledge. You should complete a project, then only it will add a lot of uh, value in it. Okay, project certificate is what matters. That is what I'm trying to tell you here. Okay. uh, Practical examples and end of the sessions. I like to know overview and how to implement the concepts. Yes, again, going back to the project part, right? This will be taken care of. Need to learn what is Six Sigma, and my expectation is the training to be accessible while learning. This is what I told you. Two interpretations. One interpretations work from, meaning weekend classes. Yes, that is there. The second one is applying the concepts uh, at office, right? Applying concepts. Applying concepts at office. Yes. Yes, as I said, your assignments and everything is being updated like that. Okay, like to implement the Six Sigma concepts in daily routine. Okay, now this is a catch. Okay, so this is a catch. Six Sigma concepts can't be applied in daily routine. And you will understand why when we go to the section called as cost solution, cost solution matrix. You can still do it if you break it down into bits and pieces and apply only the concept separately. Separate concepts can be implemented, but applying the projects, if you, no, meaning whenever you wanted to implement a project, you can't implement it just like that. Maybe concepts, yes. You, if you wanted to apply, CPK as a concept separately, yes, you can start measuring your processes like this. uh, if you wanted to do an hypothesis separately, you can do this. Okay, so I hope I have answered all the question, all the expectations clearly, right? What we will do is at the end of the session, again, we will take this slide out. Okay, the expectation slide out, and we will validate whether we have met all the expectations as well, right? Okay, now let's quickly move into the session now. clear all the drawings. Okay. Let's go to the slide number 2. Guys, this you guys are already know because you guys were part of the sessions, but people who are not part of the sessions, this is going to be a 36 hours of training program and 3 practice projects. There will be daily assignments, few Excel templates given. And now when it comes to Excel templates, I would still, if people wanted to have an Excel template where they wanted to just copy paste it, you can do it. But I would still urge not to use Excel templates just like copy pasting, because you will never know how the workings are happening. For instance, if you are working on a box plot, you will not know how the box plot okay, box plot can be copy pasted, but hypothesis, few hypothesis testing or ANOVA and all, to start with, do it manually. Okay, but still you will give this out. And forum for discussion, yes, it is already there, and project completion certificates, which I've already spoken about. Okay, let's move to this is the course objective, which you guys already know. Guys, now how many of you were part of the sessions earlier, and how many of you wanted to go through the last sessions as well? The uh, uh, because the 3 concepts which we have already spoken in the training program last webinar. So if you guys still wanted to go through this, or can we move to the second part of it?
I will be Karthik. I'm not part of the last session, so I like to just provide the insight about the last session.
Okay. All right. Okay, now let me ask a question to the team, people who are part of it. Okay, now what do you understand from this formula? Let me do a quick recap check. Okay, somebody can unmute and talk about what is quality and what is this formula is about. The quality is equal to performance divided by customers' expectations. Now, what is this?
This is session. How we measure the quality performance for very particular field. Or suppose if it's a mobile shop, means how they are calculate their quality performance. So here the customer expectation, what the customer has expected, and from the expected, how many expectations that company is fulfilled. Suppose if a customer has have a 10 specification, and if the company has fulfilled 9, means that the formula is 9 by 10. So 9 by 10, what's accuracy? This is the accuracy for the mobile shop.
Okay. So now, thank you, Session. Now the next question is this, but before that, I'll quickly recap what Session was saying. Now let's assume that you are going to a pizza shop and you have 2 expectations. You expecting the pizza to be bigger. Okay, you are expecting pizza to be bigger. The second expectation is that you want the pizza to be spicy. Okay, there are 2 expectations you have. Now, after ordering it and you had the pizza, you looked at the pizza seems to be smaller. Okay, but spicy as you asked. Okay, now out of your 2 expectations, one is not met and one is met. Okay, so which means your pizza delivery guy has met only 2 of your expectations. Now what will you see? What are you seeing now is that 1 out of 2 expectations are met, so which is almost only 50%. So which means that this guy is okay, right? He did not meet. So this is what we are talking about, right? performance divided by customers' expectation. How many expectations these guys have, and how much of it we are meeting it. Sometimes what happened, despite you don't even meet two of it, but still we will say this product is quality. This product is fantastic because the brand or the perception will make you blind. All right. So even if we know for a fact that mileage of the Royal Enfield is much lower than any other bikes, but still we prefer to buy that. Why? Because of the brand, right? The same thing, the brand also make you blind to see this. Now let's go to the second slide. Now this is one of the things we spoke about. Right. So now this is a quick table. I will not go much deeper, but let me tell you, this is a situation table where we spoke about. So now you had asked for an Apple iPhone. You had ordered for an Apple iPhone and in an online order, and you have two expectations. One is why two expectations. One is on time delivery, and second one is your accuracy. On time delivery is where when you order the product within 2 days of time, you're supposed to get it. And the second one is that you needed an Apple iPhone, and you should be getting an Apple iPhone, not a Samsung. Right? The situation A, they have delivered the Apple iPhone within 2 days of time. So which means that your first expectation is met, and the second expectation is also met. Okay. Now, what kind of an emotion you will go through? You will go through a happy emotion, right? You will be very happy. You will be very happy. What is the second one you will be going through? The second example is that they have not delivered on time. They have not delivered on time, and they have not delivered on time. And the second one is that, but they delivered the Apple iPhone. Here the happy smile. Here probably you would be okay, right? Because they have not delivered it on time, but still you have gone through it. Okay. The third situation is that the OD was okay. OTD, that is on time deliveries on. They have delivered it on time, but it is not an Apple iPhone, but it is a Samsung. So here they did not do it properly. Here what happens? You will be completely annoyed, right? Angry. You will be angry, right? And uh, the third one is the fourth item is that, okay. So you have ordered, the OTD is met, accuracy is met, but before this day, what happened is that there was a fight between your colleagues or peers or your father, mother, whatever, whomever it is. You are completely angry. Okay. So you are already in an angry mode. Let's quickly look at the ratings. Okay. Now the first, after delivering this guy is giving you a rating form to fill. Now the first situation, they have met both. So what would be your rating? Probably 3 and above. 3 or 4. Okay. The second one, they did not meet on time delivery and they meet the accuracy. Here probably I'll put it as 2 because they have not delivered this one, right? The third one is the on time delivery was okay. The accuracy was not okay. What is it? Accuracy, instead of an Apple iPhone, they have given you a Samsung, right? Which is not okay. I have ordered for an Apple. There is no matter if you guys delivered it, whatever time it is. So this becomes 0. Okay. Now the fourth one is that since you are already in an angry mode, right? Despite the company is going to deliver it on time and with an accurate thing, your emotions are already too high. So what happens? Despite you're supposed to give a rating of 3 or 2, you will be giving only 1. Okay. Now let's say this guy is delivered even within, instead of 2 days, within a day. Within a day. Okay. I'm supposed to give a rating of, because he has over delivered here, I'm supposed to give a rating of 4 and above. 4 and above. Okay. But I have given rating of 1. So look at the logic here. So situation 1 and 2, right? Both are same, but again, this guy is over delivered. This is delivered in 2 days. This is delivered in 1 day. So this rating is supposed to be 4, but here the rating is supposed to be 3 or so. But technically, this should be higher, right? But we have not given it higher because we are angry. So your emotions is diluting the entire rating scale. So now when you are completely in an emotional state or attached to something emotionally, or if you have some mood swings during that time, you will not be able to see the quality coming up. Okay, so that is what we are trying to tell you here. Cool. Okay, now people who have questions, we can, when time permits, we can go through this in detail. Karthik, we can go through in detail if time permits. Yeah.
Okay, Gopi. It's
Sure.
clear.
All right, let's go to the second slide, which is about a definition of quality. Guys, I'll be sharing the slides with you, so you don't have to write notes, but you have to take some notes on for your memory, right? Simply stated, quality comes from meeting customers' expectation. That's what we were talking about. The performance divided by your quality is your key standard, right? Quality is equal to P divided by E. So that is what we are talking about. Meeting customers' expectation. This is what everybody is saying, right? Quality can be occurs as a result of 4 activities. Okay. So now what does it mean? If I have to do this, there are 4 things which I need to do primarily. Okay. What are those? If I need to meet the customer expectation, the first thing what I need to do, I need to understand what is the expectation, right? Understand what is the expectation. My expectation is pizza to be bigger in size. I need to know exactly how big it is. So big as a term can differ from person to person. So probably as a customer, I need to tell the radius of the pizza should be 40 centimeter. Don't go and tell this in the pizza shop. Huh? the the radius of the pizza should be 40 centimeter. I want a large pizza, right? So the owner should know this, right? He needs to understand what is the term. It should not be vague. And then after understanding what he's supposed to do, he's supposed to develop the product or design the product, right? Design a pizza. Okay, so how big it is? Okay, should we put it in a square format, because still it is also big? Should we, or it must be in a circle? Okay, and now if it is a circle, okay, so how somebody will eat? Okay, how to cut and eat, all this comes, right? So that's where the designing becomes a step 2. Okay, and once the designing part done, so you will develop processes, right? So for this pizza making, there can be 3 steps. One is ingredients preparation, which is preparation primarily, and then dough making and all this. Let's put it as dough making, and then baking, and then presenting. So these are 4 steps, right? Four stages. So this becomes a process, right? What you're saying, typically we have developed a process for pizza making, developing, and then you need to develop this process, right? So once this process is developed and you start delivering it, so you got to be controlling it, right? So you developed it, you left just like that, right? Then nobody knows what is happening. Okay, now you got to be controlling it. How do you control? You start putting the measurement methods to control, to measure all this. Okay, so this is what the quality as a concept, and 4 steps of the quality and how do we make it. Okay, so the first thing what you do, you understand the requirement, designing the requirement, developing the requirement, and controlling it. Now let's assume that you are going to, a new transition is going to happen. Let's assume that. Okay, so now you need to prepare a presentation or a project plan for your manager or above. Okay, you can actually use, right, these 4 stages exactly in your project, that's how powerful the concept is, right? So let's assume that how do you prepare it? You will have a transition plan. Okay, let's assume there is a process called as let's put it as loan application, loan approving process. Okay, loan approving process. We don't know, and you are working in a GSC, and you're supposed to prepare a transition plan. What I can do, I can actually split this into 4 stages. Stage 1 is your understanding of requirements. Okay, or rather probably requirement gathering, something like that, you can define it, right? And then designing the processes. Okay, and developing the process, designing the services, developing the process, and controlling it. Okay, so now look at this, you have 4 stages in this entire thing, and again break it down this into each of the steps, right? So this becomes a project plan itself, right? See, look at this, how versatile it is, right? At a higher level, this is what it is, but you can still go ahead and change all these names. Probably if you wanted to make it more attractive or more sophisticated language, you can go back and change all this, but in general you are able to understand, right? So these are the 4 steps. Okay, guys, any question? I know slightly I'm too fast and slightly going ahead because we have a bigger concepts to discuss. That's the reason. Okay, guys, these are pre intended slides, right? You can go through this once I give you. So these are some definitions of big quality leaders. Okay, so there is a person called as Deming, Jogan, and all these people are the gurus of Six Sigma. Sorry, gurus of quality, not Six Sigma, gurus of quality, where they say their definitions, right? Quality is defined from customer's point of view as anything that enhances their satisfaction, right? So when you meet your customer's expectation, what happens? They're going to be satisfied. Okay, so what he's saying is attack anything, attack satisfaction, which means that make people satisfied. So if I have to satisfy, you have to do you need to meet customers requirement. Now here Joran says, again, provide a customer satisfaction, right? Free from deficiencies, which means that defect free, quality is free, is what he's talking about. So when you look at anything, right, underlying concept is this. meet the customer's expectation. That's what quality is all about. Okay. All right. Okay. This is where the different things coming up. Okay. Now let's get into history of Six Sigma. All right. Now, let me ask you a question now. Who is the father of Six Sigma? Who is father of Six Sigma? Type it in the comment. Let me see how many of you really know or don't know. Who is father of Six Sigma? Bill Smith. Somebody says Bill Smith. Somebody says don't know. Okay. Who else? Okay. Let's see. Okay. What happened in some time later part? Okay. Bob. There is a person called as Bob Calvin. Okay. Motorola company. Okay. These guys were facing a tremendous quality issues. Okay. Quality issues. But Bob doesn't know this. Okay. Bob doesn't know this. So why there was a meeting? Bob arranged for a meeting because their profit numbers, the revenue, guys, sorry for the scribbling, revenue, everything is getting dropped. All right. So now he arranged for a meeting with all the sales head, with all the production head, with 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 operation, production, purchase, with all the departments. He has called everybody, the big shots, and started having this meeting. And he asked this question: why our revenue is dropping and profit is dropping? Cost is going higher, cost is going high, revenue is dropping, profit is dropping. Why? So production team started blaming the purchase team because they are not giving the high quality raw products. Sales team is saying, the customers are not willing to buy, and the Japanese revolution and the economy is gone down, blah blah blah. There is a lot of blame game happening this side and that side. Suddenly there was one person who is sitting in the last. Somebody has to go on a mute. Okay. Okay, Jayst is gone on mute. All right. So now this guy, somebody was sitting on the last bench. Okay, somebody sitting on the last bench and said, our quality stinks. Somebody sitting on the last bench has said our quality stinks. Okay, so Bob Calvin is a CEO of the Motorola company. He's having a meeting with all the big heads, right? all the big heads, and he was asking why the revenue, profit, and cost is going down. Sorry, revenue is going down, profit is going down, cost is going higher, and what's happening? Entire team is blaming each other. Somebody in the last bench has said this statement: our quality stinks. Nobody is willing to buy because of that. That's all. Meeting got over. Okay. After that, what Bob Kevin did. So he went back to Motorola's production team. Okay, production, sales, everywhere. He did not have meetings with big heads. He started meeting individuals. And tried to understand what was happening on the floor. Okay, he did not sit in his cabin. He did not do anything. He went straight away, went into the individuals and started looking at it. But he could not. These guys could not fix it. Okay, so then that's where the whole story is getting started. Okay, so in 1990, Bob Galvin, what is he doing? He started doing all this, where he started doing a walkthrough of each and every process and trying to understand. Now, after that, quite some time, he approached this guy, Bill Smith. He was working in a Motorola company. Okay, who is an engineer. Okay, who is an engineer who works on reliability. What we can say. He's doing a study on reliability and variability as a process, as a concept. So this guy is doing that. His name is Bill Smith. Okay, so now after that, what happened? Bob Galvin approached this guy. So now Bill Smith is already doing something great. Okay, he's doing a study on variability. So now Michael Harry is really good in statistics. Okay, now these two gentlemen came together to solve Motorola's problem. Okay, so complete work has been done by him. So the thought process of statistics, bringing statistics into problem solving, is coming from this guy, this gentleman. Okay, so now this guy became the father of Six Sigma. Okay, then what is this guy doing? Okay, now what he did is he was supporting him intellectually. Whenever there is a question, whenever there is a problem, whenever there is a food required for his thought processes, so this guy was delivering it. Okay, now after all this done, said and done, okay, what this guy did is he came up with a booklet. Okay, he came up with a booklet of DMAC. Okay, approach. This booklet was published, was shared within the Motorola for everyone. They started using it and they trained everybody in Motorola. So after training everybody in Motorola, they were able to see the turnaround in their production. Okay. Now, so Motorola started doing really well. Okay. So after some time, what happened? Bob Galvin, at 1983, they called Michael Harry again. Okay. Called him and said, hey, you know what? the Boeing CEO of Boeing company has really liked the booklet. Okay, whatever the booklet you have prepared it, and they wanted you to deploy this and train this for the entire team. Now, this is where before this there was one thing happened which I forgot to tell you. This guy Bob Gavin was very smart. Okay, so because what he did is he did not hire Michael Harry. So what he said is that, hey, you know what, you both guys have a lot of knowledge, but after you guys leave, I don't want to leave this knowledge out. I want you guys to train all of this, right? So entire team was trained, and because of that only this booklet came out, right? The booklet was not just like that happened. The booklet came out because of this ask coming from Bob Galvin. Okay, so now this once this booklet came in, he is getting a call from Boeing. So Michael Harry is supposed to train so many people in this language and different people in a year. This is an ask from Boeing. So he started doing it. But now what is the relationship between the black belts? So we then what is the relationship between this? So now Michael Harry is in Boeing, and he have to train 10,000 people in different location and 15 different languages. Okay, then he said, okay, let's name this whole initiative. Let us come up with the name of the initiative. Then he said, hey, we can call it as black belts. And why black belts? So he compared it with the martial arts. Okay, martial arts. How martial art people attack enemies, how they torture their enemies. Like that, we Six Sigma people torture the data to get some insights. Okay, what you guys will be doing? You guys will be torturing the data to give some insights. Okay, this is what Six Sigma people supposed to do. They're supposed to cut, they're supposed to kill the data, supposed to squeeze the data to get some insights coming out. All right, now look at this. The whole story is like this. Now Bob Galvin has a problem. He approached Bill Smith. Bill Smith is an engineer already. Okay, and these both gentlemen joined together, developed the booklet. Sorry, the booklet was developed by him, and already this guy is doing a study, and Motorola started improving. Now after this booklet, Boeing called Michael Harry. Then this black belts as a name came up. Okay, so Six Sigma, black belts, green belts, yellow belts, and all this came up during this discussion. And then he went back and trained 10,000 employees and in 52 locations and with 15 different languages in a year. This is the history of Six Sigma. Okay, now who's the father of Six Sigma? Type it in the comment section. Who's father of Six Sigma? Bill Smith, right? Michael Harry is a co-founder, co-father. It'll be so bad to tell like that. Okay, we can call it as co-founder. Okay, all right, let's move on to the second slide. This is just for your sake, this is not needed at the moment. Okay, now let's ask you this question. Why Six Sigma? Why Six Sigma? The main goal of Six Sigma is what? The main goal of Six Sigma is to make
profit.
Make profit, right? But how will you make profit? Guys, you can unmute yourself and talk. Shouldn't be an issue because we have only 6 people here, so it can be interactive, no problem.
By improving your quality.
By improving the quality.
By improving the quality. Okay, so can I write something here? Okay, improving the quality. What else?
Providing best service to customer.
Can you put it like customer satisfaction?
Yes, that's not it.
Okay.
Reducing the headcounts.
Reducing headcounts, okay, which is your cost optimization. Cost optimization and managing processes can be another one. All right, let's see. Okay, the first one is customer satisfaction, which we have already put in, right? The first, as we said, that is the goal. If you wanted to, if your customers are satisfied, you can make profit. If your customers are not satisfied, you will not make profit. Very simple, right? So this is first one. Look at the second one. What is the second one coming up? Cost optimization, which we have written here. Session was saying headcount reduction. Headcount is only part of the cost, right? You have other costs. If you are working in a supermarket, let's assume that you are owning a supermarket. What are the costs involved? You need to do transportation, right? Absolutely. You need to give rent. You need to pay rent for the entire setup. There is a lot of other costs involved, right? So cost optimization is another one. Okay, so let's see the third one, reduce variation. Okay, when I say variation, these are primarily defects in the processes, and output, okay, which need to be reduced. The fourth one is your improve processes. Now, how will you improve the processes? Look at the loopholes, bottlenecks in the process and eliminate all this. Okay, so this is how you do it. So when you look at this entire uh, uh, four themes, it will flow like this only. Most of the time how it will flow is 1 2, okay, 3 4. Probably this is an isolated one, but you can look at like this. To make profit, you have to satisfy your customer through improving processes, reduce variation. So this is how it will come. This is a standalone concept, but this is how it will come. Okay, it is like a chain. All right. Okay, let's go to the next item, which is the same thing, but put it in a different format so that you can use it. So improve processes, lower defective variability, reducing cost, increase satisfaction, and making profit. Six Sigma is more for making profit. That is what you guys have to know. Okay, let's skip this slide. All right. Okay. Guys, what you can do now is that let's quickly go to the quiz part of it. There is a quiz in your Google Classroom. Go to the Google Classroom session. Go to the Google Classroom session, and there you can see introduction of guys. You are able to open that quiz, the introduction of.
Yes, Gopi.
Okay,
Yes,
open
Gopi.
that. Yeah, open that. Leave the first one. First one still we have not gone through there yet. So we will go through in another 5 minutes. Okay, guys, open that and keep it. We will finish this concept and then we'll take that quiz. That will be much helpful for you. All right. Okay. Let's take a look at this. The difference between Lean and Six Sigma as an IPO model. Let's skip this for now. let's get into another concept called as this concept is called as project evaluation. Okay, now so there were a time when I got a call, uh, uh, not an official call, but rather it is a friendly call from one of the friend is working in a different company, and he called me and asked, Gopi, you know what, I have a problem which I need to solve it. He said, okay. I said, okay, what is it, you tell me. So he started explaining the concept. He went on and on for 30 to 45 minutes. I was, as a consultant, I'm supposed to hear a lot, right, rather speaking. So I was hearing this for a while, and he said, these are the issues, and my TAT is going for a toss, and accuracy is going down. I don't know what to do. And I said, okay, can we look at a process, right? uh, he said, okay. So we both went on the floor and started looking at the processes. But during that time, I noticed there is a lot of people walking around, okay, here and there. And I asked him, so do you guys work in shift, or do you guys meet customers very often? He said, oh, this is the biggest problem. Okay, people don't follow processes, policies. People don't follow policies slash protocols, processes. I said, oh, okay. Then he started telling me, this is the biggest problem. People don't follow policies, processes, and all of this. And because of that, blah, 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 we are not able to meet. And he started telling a lot of things again. So I was like slowly again observing. And then once the meeting got over, I concluded it. Okay, I know for a fact that these are not a bigger problem where Six Sigma can be used. So these are the problems where it is fundamentals, right? So when I say fundamentals are like your hygiene problems. Okay, hygiene problems. So when I say hygiene, what does it mean? So there is a process. Let's assume that in most of the companies, we call this as a customer specification or customer requirements, or a customer database or customer policies. You must be seeing somebody while processing, they will be looking at some other sheets or some other access database or some other Excel file or Word document and referring policies. Now these and the process is that they're supposed to look at that. That is a basic hygiene they should follow. Now this is one. And if the policy is you supposed to come at 9 o'clock, then you're supposed to come at 9 o'clock. That is basic hygiene, right? uh, so they're not following this hygiene. Okay, so then I figured out the problem is not completely that. The problem is the hygiene itself is the first thing. Okay, now for hygiene, I cannot go back and tell him that, hey, you know what, you're you need to fix the basic things. And then uh, since this guy is my close friend, I was able to
tell him upfront. But think about it. If you are really a consultant and if you are in a situation like this, in a different environment, you can't tell them that you can't implement Six Sigma, because this guy is so obsessed with this term, a very fancy term called Six Sigma, and he wanted to implement that. So he was very excited, and I cannot go back and tell this guy saying that, hey, you don't cannot. But in my situation, I can do that because he's my friend, right? I told him upfront, hey buddy, you know what, these are fundamental problems. He said, no, come on, I wanted to implement this. Okay, then I created a piece of paper. Okay, I said, okay, if that's going to be the case, let us build a small plan. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. So I told them there are different methods and approaches. Okay, but if since you are very keen on implementing Six Sigma, okay, there are few parameters which need to be met to implement Six Sigma. Okay, I took the processes, let's say process A, process B, and process C. The first one is hygiene. Okay, the second one is the metrics. Guys, what is metrics? What is metrics?
Advantages.
Meaning?
Gopi, it's like standard template of format. We can track our performance.
Not really. What is metrics? Okay, let me put it like this. What is SLA?
Measuring performance. That
SLA is measuring performance. Okay. All right. I think we need to get the basics also right. Okay. So now let's assume like this. See, when I say metrics, right? If you type it in Google, what is metrics? It will tell you it is a measurement. Okay. Metrics means measurement. Anything which you are going to measure becomes a metric. It's called as a metric. Now, why this metric is very important? Okay. Now you have multiple expectations, right? So we spoke about quality is what? Quality is performance divided by expectations. Now, on-time delivery and accuracy, we need to start measuring it. Okay. We need to start measuring it to see where do we stand against the performance. I'm not saying it is not against performance, but metric as a term is a measurement in depth. All right. Now, when you start measuring something against some standard, that becomes your performance validation. Okay. There is no standards, which means that I have to meet 99. That 99 is your standard. So if there is no standard, then it is also called as a metric, but it is not an use. It is not of a use because you will not improve, right? You need to have standard. Now, what is a metric? Metric is something which you start measuring on a given processes. Okay. Now, what is SLA? SLA is called as a service level agreement. Now, between whom? Between the vendor and the customer. Now, between the vendor and the customer, if we say service level agreement, what will be given there? There will be a lot of things will be given. So they would have spoken about concepts, they would have, cost, they would have spoken about production, lot of things. But there will be also some portion called as, okay, performance measurements. In that performance measurements, you can see couple of things. You will see accuracy percent, you will see productivity percent, you will see turnaround time. There will be a lot of other, it depends on the processes, right? Now, when I say metric, what is it? It is a measurement as a term. Okay. Now, when we say performance metrics, you need to have a standard. Now, there are two different things to it. One is called as performance metrics, one is called as a process metrics. When in general, anywhere you go and say, this is a performance metric, man, people will relate to the people. Okay, anybody will relate to people. So people's performance is always tagged under performance metric. Okay, so performance, what is the productivity of Karthik? What is the productivity of Gopal? What is the productivity of Session? What is the productivity of Jaystri? Becomes the performance metric. Okay, so how well you are doing becomes a performance metric. Your process metrics or customer metrics are different, right? Your turnaround time, your accuracy, or all of these are process metrics. Okay, so now coming back to the whole point, whole idea of this box. So you have something called as a metric, right? And then we will put a methodology. This is what I told him. Okay, so let's say process A, you know what, you guys are meeting the hygiene. Okay, which means that there are certain rules and regulations which need to be followed as a protocol, which you guys are following. I'm really happy about it. And your performance measurements, you're meeting the on-time delivery, you're meeting accuracy, everything which is in green. Okay, let me put a tick here. So I said, for this two metric, if it is green, then I can implement Six Sigma. I can see a smile on his face. Wow. Okay, at least here we can see, we can implement a Six Sigma in a process. Then I went to the process B and I said, here also you guys met the process, but your metrics is in red and amber sometimes. Sometimes you guys are meeting, sometimes are not meeting. So here we can have Six Sigma and lean. Okay. The third one, he was like, here also, okay, we at least we can implement this. Now the third one is like, the hygiene is not met. Hygiene is not met. Okay. Hygiene is not met. The metrics is met. Hygiene not met, but metrics met. And the fourth one, D, is again not met, not met. Okay. In both the cases, you can't implement Six Sigma. You can only implement Lean. You can only implement Kaizen and best practice sharing. Okay. Now there is something called as Lean. We are talking about, there is something called as Kaizen. So we will talk about all of that. But before getting into this concept, core concept, we need to know where this can apply, right? What happens sometime, you go, you find some problem and you know the solution and you want to make a Six Sigma project out of it. Okay. That's not the intent, right? And so this metric is very powerful. So you gotta be really understanding this metric. Okay. This measurement, right? See, this is what we are talking about. The Lean Six Sigma, Lean. Now, I will be giving you assignments to do this as well. If somebody is team leader and above, or if somebody who works in quality team or who supports team leader and you can go back and do your assessments or some table like this to see fundamentals and metrics and where do we stand, where do we implement. This can be done. Okay, so this is one activity, but you will get it in assignment, so you can see that. Now let's look at, guys, any questions on this?
No, Gopi.
Okay, let's go to our quiz, and then we can have a break. Okay, so you guys are able to see the quiz. Open the quiz in your sheet, or no, you can do it later, but we can do it along. You can do it along with me now. You can do that in later as a refreshment. Okay. All right. Now, Six Sigma can be implemented where process hygiene factors or discipline does not exist. What is the answer? True or false? Six Sigma can be implemented where?
False.
Process hygiene,
False.
False.
false. Six Sigma can be implemented where process hygiene factors are false. Okay. Why it cannot be implemented? Then where it can be implemented?
If both are is okay, if both are met, then we can implement
Both means what? Both.
hygiene and the metrics.
Okay, hygiene and metrics.
Metric.
Very good. Okay. Now, what is the second thing? Question. Six Sigma was a brainchild or father of which Motorola engineer?
Bill Smith.
Okay. What we will do, I will ask specific questions to specific people. Wait. Because Rajit is answering everything.
Okay.
Okay, this Bill Smith people have gone through. Okay, now the third question goes to, okay, we have session now, right? Okay. All right, this is what I have not told you guys, right? In the story, I missed. There was one scene which I've missed. Okay, so Motorola, there was an award got from a Motorola after implementing this Six Sigma concepts. Okay, so after implementing it, they were able to get an award on Malcolm Bridge Quality Award. So that award was given to them. So probably that I have to include it on the slide. Good one. So I'll include this. Okay, yeah, that was a miss. That's fine. All right. What is the second? Okay, DPMO. Okay, this one we need to go through yet. Okay, these are the three questions which we have got right. But I'll ask you a couple of questions now. What is the major what are the four things? Highlight four things which why Six Sigma is needed. Tell me four reasons why Six Sigma is needed.
Understanding, designing, developing, and controlling.
That is that is a process.
Customer specification, cost optimization, reduce variation, improve processing.
Improve processes, right? Okay, good. Now, okay, next question. Jayashree, what are the four steps or four activities involved in quality? Is Jayashree there? Okay, so I don't think, okay, Jayashree is not able to hear me, I believe. Okay, so is anybody wants to answer this question? Quality can occur as a result of four activities. There are four activities which we discussed.
Gopi already Sheshan told that answer: understanding, designing, developing, and controlling.
Okay, yeah, very good. That is what we spoke about. Now, So there are four things which we discussed. We discussed what is quality and why Six Sigma is important, and where we can implement and where we cannot implement, right? Six Sigma. Now let us, as we'll have a break at 11:30. Okay, so let me complete one no, this concept will take some time to understand. All right, but still we'll go ahead. All right, now let's see this concept. Now, statistical definition of Six Sigma. Now we spoke about why Six Sigma. Now let's get into what is Six Sigma. What is the definition of Six Sigma? Now let's read the statistical definition of Six Sigma. Okay, Six Sigma means standard deviation. Standard deviation is a measurement of amount of variation or the depression of set of values. The average distance between all points from mean of the data set. Okay. Oh, this is how the first time I've been taught what is Six Sigma. Okay. So all these are a pretty big jargons where most of the times we will not be able to understand. For me it took 2 sessions to I've gone through two training programs, which means that first I enrolled for a training program, I completed it, I did not get an hang of it, I was not able to understand few of the concepts. Again I enrolled for the same program with a different thing, then only I actually got some hang of it. Okay, so because that's how slightly the stats made it difficult, but we will try to make it simpler. Now standard deviation is first definition, okay, of a statistical term. Now let us see what is it. Okay, let's not get into how the standard deviation is getting calculated now. Okay, so let's understand the concept only. Understand the concept only. So let's assume there is a loan approval process, and its accuracy stands at 79%. Okay, 79%. Then I calculated the standard deviation using a formula in Excel. Okay, very simple formula in Excel. And I figured out it is 3%. Now, using this data, what I did, I went back to my boss and said, you know what, sir, our loan accuracy improvement process can vary from, okay, 76% to 82%. This is what I told him. I was like, he said, how are you saying this? It'll be in this range only. Then I said, you know what? I went back and applied the standard deviation concept. I took the standard deviation, and standard deviation is always like plus or minus of your mean. So what does this mean? Your average accuracy, right, is 19%, and it's like this. Okay. So when I say standard deviation, it is plus and minus of your average. A simple interpretation is that if anybody comes back and says, Jaystri, your productivity percent stands at today 95%. So I took the data of Jaystri's productivity percentage of last 6 months, and the average stands at 95%. 95% productivity. Okay. And our standard deviation stands at 2%. Now, what does this mean? What I can infer is Jaystri's productivity can vary from 93% to 97%. I can say tomorrow Jaystri's productivity can be only from 93 to 97. This is what the interpretation is. Nothing else. This is what standard deviation and Six Sigma in a statistical form. Okay, this has one connotation, and you will understand when you go slightly deeper, but at a higher level. Stay with this. What is it? Standard deviation is a plus or minus of your mean. This is what you need to have. And this productivity example of Jayshree, keep it in your mind. That's it. Okay, let's not confuse much. Now let's go to the second connotation. Second connotation is there is something called as capability. What is capability? Capability is nothing but yield. What is yield? Nothing but accuracy. Accuracy percent. Okay. What is capability? Capability is nothing but yield. What is yield? Nothing but accuracy. All of this are same. Okay. All of this are same. Now when I say a process is at 1 sigma, okay, their accuracy percent will be 31%. Okay, their accuracy percent will be only 31%. Okay, now if they are at 2 sigma, their accuracy percent will be 69%. Okay, now 3 sigma 93%, 4 sigma 99.38%. Okay, 99.38%. 5 sigma 99.977%. 6 sigma it is going beyond. Okay, so now look at your processes. So most of the times your target for your measurement, like accuracy percent of any BPO stands at 99, right? 99%. Correct? So what is the expectation? The expectation is to be beyond, between this, probably 3.5 sigma. The customer wants you to work at 3.5 sigma. Okay. Now, Gopi, what is this? What is defects per million opportunities? Okay. Now, when you actually operate at 99.9997%, you are allowed to make only 3.4 defects per million opportunities. You can make only 3.4 defects, which is very, 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 very close. And it is at a million opportunity. What is million? 10 lakh opportunities. Okay, let's say a product it is, okay, if you go to the second slide, you will understand better. Okay, so now the yield is your accuracy percent, your 6 sigma level, how it is linked. This is how it is linked. So now most of the companies operate at this level. Okay, now, okay, Gopi, understood. Now which are the companies goes beyond this? Okay, your aerospace, anything which deals with human life, right, will try to go beyond this. Now anything which has more human intervention, example, your doctor prescription. If your doctor prescription is always as one erroneous, you would have seen, you will never understand what they have written because they don't know the spelling of it. So you will be able to spot a lot of mistakes on that. All right. So now this is how it is done. Now, okay, now let's see. We are trying to link this with that. Okay, what are we trying to link? See, when I say 99% accuracy and 99 at 6 sigma, they have given a comparison, right? What is it? 20,000 postal emails. Postal emails lost. Postal emails items. 20,000 postal emails items per hour, which means that the 20,000 posts are getting lost if they are actually operating at 99%. Now only 7 postal emails are lost if it is at 99.9996%. Okay. Now 15 minutes of unsafe drinking water. Think about it. Here it is just 1 minute. Okay. So let's keep it even more simpler. Look at this. You will be able to really relate with this. 7 hours electricity power cut in a month. Okay, if you are operating at 99%, if you are operating at 6 sigma, 1 hour power cut in every 30 years. If our EB, if our, think about it, if our EB electricity EB department works in this, right? This is how it will be. You will have only 1 hour power cut in 34 years. Look at this. 5,000 incorrect surgery if they operate at 99%. If they actually operate at 6 sigma, how it will be? Only 1.7 errors. Yeah. All right. This is how it is. Now, what we will do is we will take a quick break for, guys, how much time you need? Will not stop. They will continue to cry. So they will settle by themselves. You can leave it. Ignore. My wife is taking care. Shouldn't be an issue. Okay, some organization requires all employees to be certified, get certified green belts before promotion. Many requires employees at least now green belt perform. Very sorry. All right. Now let's move to the third point. The green belt performance is usually evaluated in employees' regular performance appraisals, although some companies may provide additional incentives. So this is being implemented everywhere. It's not that it is not there. If you complete a green belt project, you will get a incentive, some X% of the benefits which you are gained. So this is what we call it as hackathons and reward mechanisms. The primarily most of the companies will have, even your smaller companies will have, but it's more of an implementation part. Okay, so now let's move to the fourth one. Six Sigma green belts should expect to schedule regular occurring meetings with their black belts coaches to review the project progress and seek advice. So this is one area which is lacking in most of the companies. What happens is that you implement you identify a uh, project, but what happens is review doesn't happen. So even the review happens with your black belt, right, or your immediate boss who reviews it, but it doesn't happen with the stakeholders. Okay, this is one of the biggest problem. So when you start doing it, you need to do this. Now let's move to this one. Not everyone on your green belt team is going to like the Six Sigma improvement process. Change is often difficult for people to embrace. Your leadership will play a critical role in shaping the team and the project outcomes, which means that not everyone is going to like your project. There will be always people who will try to punch holes on the project. So you need to be ready. Okay. Next one. So managed by data is always defensible. Okay. Gut instinct will not be valued in business much longer. Green belt projects helps. Now, when you go back and say this can be fixed, nobody is going to buy it. Correct. So what will fly is when you go with the data, it works. And we know for a fact that is why we are in this training program. So next one, if you haven't dealt with finances much in the past, your green belt project is an opportunity to learn basic equation, quantitative project benefits, and speak the language of management. This is what I really like, okay, about any of the projects case. So when you actually take this project, right, it will help you to talk the language of management. The more and more you talk the language of management, the more and more you grow. That is the key, right? Because management will be able to relate to you, and what are you thinking? Your thinking will be aligned with the management, right? So this is the key. Okay, so this is the one of the reasons you need to take Six Sigma project. Okay, so the green belt should expect to work on an improvement their skills and facilitation. Okay, so now if you are a green belt, you need to start training people and start improve their facilitation skills. Because what happens if you are a green belt and you will start taking training programs, you will start taking a lot of training programs. So based on that fact, you need to come up with these projects. Now the ninth point is that green belts are selected because they are business professionals, not quality gurus or statistical geniuses. Okay, understand this. If I am a black belt, I will be very good on the project management, but I will not be very good in process. I don't know the process. So if you are really a process expert, and if you have this green belt packed with it, so you will be a good problem solver. That is the key fundamental, right? So if you are a green belt and who knows the concept, then you can become a great problem solver. This is an expectation. And people will not just select green belt from different processes because they are a green belt. No, green belt should have a Six Sigma expertise. Okay, now next item, last one. The green belt can help overcome resistance to change by involving their co-workers in the process, leading them through the data-driven solutions, right? So when you have data-driven solutions, nobody can resist you, right? You can't. You're just you. It is not that you go, hey, you know what? I have a solution. Just implement it. It'll work. No, nobody is going to buy that. You have to come up with a data-driven solution. That is the key. That is the key. Yeah, that is the key. So these are the 10 facts about a Six Sigma green belt road. Any green belt will have this 10 things you can, these are hacks which you can keep it in your mind. Okay. So now type it in the comment section or tell me which one do you really like. Let me see. Okay, second one getting promoted. The eighth one, right? The training part and the 10th, 8th and 10th. Okay, cool. Got it. All right. So these are the 5 parts. Now, okay, this is very important matrix, but we will do this tomorrow. Tomorrow and with an exercise. This is what we need to do. Okay, or else this will not fly. Okay, guys, let's go to the Google sheet. Okay, let's try to answer these 3 questions. Question number 1. DPO is an acronym for data per master of office. Defects per meter organization. Defects per million opportunities. Which one?
Defects per million opportunity.
Defects per million opportunities. Very good. Okay. Now, from the 7th table applied to you, sorry, from Z table applied to you in the resource section, which I will give you, right? The DPMO value of level 5 sigma, which is close to what?
233.
233. You're right. Okay. So if a mileage and a weight of a car are 2 variables, which statement is right? Mileage is Y and mileage is X.
Mileage is Y.
Mileage is Y.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are right. So this is the basic questions you have, right? Now let me quickly go tell you what are the assignment you guys have to complete for tomorrow's session. This introduction part, you guys take it tomorrow morning. Don't take it now because you guys have undergone this training program. You will be able, meaning this sessions, you will be able to quickly do it. Don't do it now, right? Leave a day's time today. Okay. Let it sink in your head. Take it tomorrow. The retention will be very high. Okay. this question, this has to be completed by tomorrow morning, right? So there is a deadline already given. You will have a due date. Sorry, let me set the due date right away. Okay, due date will be tomorrow. Okay, due date will be tomorrow. After that, it will not allow you, and you have 100 points for this. Okay, now section 2 quiz, which we will do it, but let's go to the assignment. Okay, so when you click on this assignment, you have something coming up here. Let's open this assignment and see what is the assignment. Hey, why am I not able to see this? Sorry, instructions are here. Yeah. See, now what you need to do is look at this. A company XYZ is struggling to increase the profit for a while now. Okay, the guys, you're able to see the screen, right?
Yes, Gopi.
Yes, Gopi.
The CEO of the company wants to initiate a productivity drive across all zones, which means that there are multiple zones in the process. Okay, in the data set. Considering the cost reduction initiative was done already, they have reduced the headcount already. Okay. Now this CEO don't wanted to reduce headcount as such, right? As you are a Six Sigma expert, you need to do a univariate analysis. Now I'll tell you what is univariate, bivariate, multivariate analysis and all, but keep it in mind, you need to do a analysis and share the first level of findings through histogram, box plot, line chart, bar chart. Now histogram, you can leave it for now. Okay. Box plot, okay, this too you can leave it for now because we will do it during the session. Line chart and bar chart, you need to use it. And if you know to do a histogram, well and good. If you know to do a box plot, well and good, try doing it. Okay. Now in the data set, you will have date, you will have zone, which is ABC, and the head count of this particular thing, and the productivity count, and the production per head count, which is like this divided by this. You have a head count. Okay. Now what you need to come up with is a initial analysis. Okay. The CEO is saying they are struggling with a profit. Now, okay, so there is no profit numbers given, nothing has been given. The what data is given to you is the productivity. So he wants to improve the productivity. So he has given this data to you. You guys have to complete this and submit the analysis in this particular thing and write some comments if you have anything. Okay, we will review it. These are this is an assignment which you guys have to do. For tomorrow's session. Okay, and this expectation is done already. Go back and review. Okay, electricity was removed. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking at another important thing for you guys to. So, yeah. Right. This is done. Now, the second thing, what you need to do is this. Go to this recognize phase and let's read the instructions. No, this is what we have seen now, right? Sorry. Um, hmm. There was work related questions. Project level initiation.
Okay, this is what I wanted to show. Yeah. Okay. Next is, which is an 100 points activity. What you guys supposed to do is, this is primarily on a work related project initiation. Okay. You have to, in this assignment, participants are required to initiate a discussion with their immediate supervisor to understand the current problems in the processes and list down the same. The Six Sigma is a powerful because it uses data and follows a proper documentation. Write a proper email stating that you are undergoing a Six Sigma training. If you want to mention, you can mention it, or else you can leave it. It is required to identify a project, blah, 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 blah. What is more important is that for me, get the list of problem areas at a higher level. Okay. Now, what are the list of problems? You will have to find out, and we will use a matrix tomorrow. Okay, there is a matrix to find out which project or which problem you are going to solve. This is extremely important. You keep it ready. Tomorrow, as we said, we have 3 projects in hand, which is a practice projects. Out of one is which I have given to you at a higher level, and next 2 we will do it. This has to be done. I have not put any dates as such. Probably will definitely put the dates. So you need to prepare this now. Okay, these are the 2 assessments you are having which need to be completed. Okay. Now,
Okay, one thing on question regarding that project you told no. Tomorrow need to confirm. So we have to confirm with the higher level supervisor.
no, not tomorrow, because that is not tomorrow. That is you need to, if you get a chance by Monday or Tuesday or so, right? Because you will have a week's time.
Okay.
You can get that data. Tomorrow, what we will do is we will understand a concept where it will help you to prioritize. So we will have some 2-3 projects in hand. We will try to use that data to see what you guys have to replicate. Okay. So just replicate the processes that will help you. Now the second thing what you need to do is that if you are working with a process, you need to come up with this table. Okay. If you are working with a process A, what are the fundamentals? List down the fundamentals and put a tick mark and say, yes, this is met, this is not met, yes, this is met, this is not met. Okay. And then list down the metrics and whether the metrics is green or not. Lookout with methodology need to be applied. This is one thing which you need to do. Okay, these are the 2 things you need to do. Now this doesn't require a much of a thing, but get a high level view of what are you doing. So got it. So today is more of a very, very basic stuff. From tomorrow we will do the analysis bit. Okay, so tomorrow I'll tell you what are we going to see tomorrow session. So we will talk about this cost and solution matrix. So how to map projects, and this practical problem which I have given you as an assignment tomorrow. Then we will say how these projects are linked and the stats part of it. So tomorrow is going to be more of a statistics and charting. How the charts we will have to create it, and what kind of an inference we need to take, and how to link it. That is what we will see tomorrow. Okay, so your real project work will start from next week. So which means that the complete charting, the project charter with the defined phase and all this will start from next week. But today is fundamental, and tomorrow is more of a charting and data cleansing, which is the first initial cut analysis. Yeah.
Okay.
So any question, guys?
Gopi, one thing, you told me that some Excel sheet, that diagram.
Right.
So we have to complete this one after the tomorrow session, no?
No.
See, there are two things which you need to the email which you need to do it with your manager, right? Manager or team leader. That you
Yeah.
can take time next week. That you can do it next week. But the analysis, right? The assignment which we are talking about in the bar graph, that and all you need it. You have to do it today.
Okay.
For tomorrow's session, you need to be prepared.
Okay.
You told that 4 chart and all, line and histogram and all. What
Right,
we know, we keep it try ourselves. I'm right?
Yeah, correct. You need to try it out yourself and do some whatever you are able to do it. Do it. Okay. Tomorrow, when I'm teaching, when I'm doing it live, right? So you can find out what you guys have done wrongly.
Yeah. Okay. First, we try ourselves, and whatever the mistakes we did, we learn from your side.
Right. That is what you guys have to do. Okay.
Oh.
So that is why I've given that data for you, the histogram, line chart, box plot, and all. If you guys don't know box plot and histogram, that's fine. Try to Google it. If not possible, leave it. We can see it tomorrow. But
Sure.
what is needed is try to look at the data, come up with different charts, and write some insights saying that okay, zone A, B, C. This is what I this is how the productivity numbers look like, and this is the zone area of improvement is there, or probably all three are same. We don't know which one to attack. Whatever comes to your mind by seeing at the data, just type that and update it in the assignments.
Okay, sure. One thing, Gopi, this link will use it in a system itself, no? In Office system while doing the everything works and
I
all.
think you can use it. You can open that link and check that out.
Okay, Gopi. Because as of now, I'm using via phone only. What are the things you're teaching, everything and all. So, okay, I will try and
That
check.
link will open. I'm assuming that it's supposed to open, right?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Because
You will be able to open that link in Office system. I tried already. It's okay. Fine.
Tried it? Okay. Good.
Yes.
Tomorrow, at what time the class will start? Same as usual today.
Same time.
10 to 1. Okay.
Yeah. Same time. 10 to 1. Today we are closing it much sooner, but because of the kids and all. But tomorrow we will close it only after 1 o'clock, and probably it can extend also because we are doing the charting part. So charting part we will not be able to say exactly how much time it will require, because the discussions can flow because it has different interpretations, so it can flow in any direction tomorrow. So we can.
Then one thing, Gopi. Today, what you taught me, that recording session, you will put it in some place.
Yeah, I will. See, what I will do is, so I will not be able to completely put the entire recording. What I will do is, rather I will give a link in WhatsApp or whatever. What you can do is, the moment when you click on it, it will convert and then it will open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is possible. I will put it across. You can view the videos. No, it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
So stop the recording. I think it is unnecessary.